Meow.
Oh, no. Dan's going to be a little quanky wanky boy.
Do me a favor and straighten out your hat, you fucking loser. No. I will not start this podcast until you stop looking like a fucking
Too bad it's already
18-year-old.
started.
We've already begun.
This is just awful. All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Empty Netters podcast. But before we get into that, we're going to hear from our incredible sponsors at Shift Hockey. Guys, Shift Hockey and the men behind it are on a mission to save you from the absurd prices in the hockey stick game. This is not an ad read that we do begrudgingly. This is an ad read that we do passionately because truly, as people who still play hockey, there is nothing more frustrating than every time you break your twig, you have to spend $350. What Shift has done is they have found the best manufacturers, the best products, and made a top-of-the-line stick that you can get for less than $200. You're going to still be playing like you've got the absolute cream of the crop twig that all these guys in the NHL are using, but you're paying a fraction of the price. Shift Hockey is doing something that hockey players, hockey parents, hockey families have needed for decades.
I love them. I got 2 of them. All my friends are getting them. That's a fact. And I'll tell you what, I keep my hockey gear outside in the shed, in the garage or something. I've always put everything there. I put everything there now except for my Shift stick, which I keep in my bedroom.
You wouldn't leave Excalibur out in the rain.
Why would you, dude? I sleep with the thing.
You put it in a case. Make sure it's pristine.
It's fantastic. And you know what else I'll tell you, Dan? I thought when I first met these guys, I was like, oh, Shift. It's a cool, like, shift your mentality about what a premium stick is. But then literally like this week, I was like, oh, like a hockey shift.
Yeah, you're putting in a good shift.
Put in a good shift and get yourself a shift.
Yeah, and you're going to get tons of those shifts when you pick up one of these sticks. They've got all the same curves you're used to, same flexes you're used to. It's going to change nothing but save you money, and that is the most obvious decision in the world. So go to shifthockey.com/netters, and you're going to pump in that promo code NETTERS at checkout and save an extra 10%. So you're already getting this stick for like $170, which is half price, and then you're going to save 10% on top of it. Shifthockey.com/netters, promo code netters at checkout. This is a no-brainer, guys. Save some money and keep using a top-of-the-line stick with Shift Hockey. All right, pumped up for another episode of the Empty Netters podcast. Listen, we were supposed to have a guest on today, but this plug, wink, wink, had a flight canceled. So we're not going to be too mad at him. He's going to come on soon. One of these next episodes, you guys are going to love him. But you're pivoting. You got just me and CP again today. So let's get into it. Guys, the NHL season is winding down.
And down the stretch they come.
Yeah, like we are on the final furlong here. There's about 4, 5, I don't even think 5 for anyone anymore. There's roughly 4 games left in the season. By this time next week, the season's going to be wrapped up for pretty much every single team. In the next few days here, we are going to get those final 2 spots in each the Eastern Conference and Western Conference locked up. But shit is getting hot in the streets, and that's a perfect segue into hot ice. What do we got to talk about right now?
I got a lot of things I want to take you through.
I want to hit it all. Let's do it.
Okay. We're starting with wild cards. Feels like we're always talking about this, but that's the nature of the end of the season.
Yeah, like that's what's going on right now.
Yeah.
And you know what's been really fun? You know, if your favorite team has locked up a playoff spot, if your favorite team has been eliminated, usually that's kind of when you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. But here's the deal, man. There are electric games every single night because so many of them are matchups of teams that are fighting for one of those last spots or fighting for those seedings. Like the Pacific is, these guys are all over the place. So it's like we've got playoff hockey already, it feels like.
Dude, I'm actually going to look this up right now because you just said something that I think is so cool and I'm actually so bummed about. You're 100% right. I'm like, yeah, at least look at the East because that's where we're going to start. The Atlantic and the Metro, the top 3 are in, and pretty much not quite like locked in that order, but it looks like it's going to kind of shake out the way it is. I think the Atlantic is locked, and the Met is figuring it out. But we're like, wow, this spicy wild card race. And dude, I know we bitch about this all the time, but bro, imagine if it was just 8 teams from the East. It like the Leafs and the Lightning and the Rangers and the Devils and the Hurricanes would all be battling. Like that would actually matter a ton. instead of the Leafs being like, yeah, we're locked in at 2 over here. I'm like, no, you are actually tied with the fucking Rangers. You know, like it would be
insane.
it would really be, there'd be so much more excitement for the seeding if it was just 8. So anyway, that annoys me. As we sit right now, the Penguins are out.
Yeah, they are currently not in the playoffs.
I am not in the playoffs.
Because you're such a Crosby guy?
Me and Sid are out.
Yeah. Currently, you and Sidney Crosby will not be playing the Stanley Cup playoffs right now, which is such a tough look for Sid.
It's a tough look for the NHL.
Sid is in the same boat as you,
Yeah.
which is so bad.
I mean, we can go golfing. Okay, so dude, right now it is the Florida Panthers in the 1 in a crazy flip of everything, right?
I cannot believe the Florida Panthers are first in the wild card.
They have
ranking.
played 78 games. They have 87 points, and they have 34 wins in regulation.
Yes,
because that is the tiebreaker.
Yes, okay. So if they have the same points at the end of all this, regulation win is the tiebreaker, which I think is cool.
Me too. I think that's really cool. Yeah. The Islanders are second, also 78 games, 87 points, 33 regulation wins. Pitt's right there, 78 games, 86 points, and they have 29 regulation wins.
Which feels like they're not going to get that tiebreaker.
They are not.
Yeah.
They don't. I don't even think they literally can. 4 games left?
4 games left. Yeah, they can't.
Yeah.
Or they couldn't catch Florida. Yeah, they couldn't. They can't.
So
they could technically catch.
They need it on points.
Yeah.
But if the Islanders lose, if the Pitt wins 4 and the Islanders lose 4, then they're in anyway. You know what I mean? Like, I think regulation wins is officially irrelevant.
Well, if Pitt wins 4 straight,
Yep.
and they get 8 points, where's their point total right now?
They're at 86. They're 1 back.
Oh yeah, and then the Islanders have 4 games left.
But I'm saying to not pass them in regulation wins would mean they could only get like 4 points from those games.
Well, hold on, let's do that. Pitt wins 4 straight in regulation.
Yep.
So now they have
94.
They have 94 points. So for the Islanders to get 94 points, it couldn't happen.
Yeah.
I was going to say maybe they win a million in shootouts.
So it's really going to come down to the points. The tiebreakers
100%.
are not going to matter, and it very much might matter for one of the other slots if it shakes out that way between the Islanders and the Panthers.
Yeah.
And then your Sabres stand last, 76 games, 81 points, 28 regulation wins.
Yeah. The Sabres played the Panthers last night in a absolute must-win game, and they lost 2-1. Couldn't fucking score any goals at all. It was shit in the bed on power plays. It
was a pretty good game.
It's a road game. Yeah, it's a good game. But the Panthers fucking suck, dude. Like, you're such a soft-ass team.
Yeah.
To quote Kachuk.
Yeah. Senior.
Yep.
Well, he's not a senior, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Devin Levi made some 6 saves. It was a great game. It felt like a playoff game. I know the Sabres, games tighten up, right? Like, Sabres have a great offense. I don't think we're going to see as much scoring as we saw in the regular season in the playoffs. And I'm not that mad at them because I thought they played hard. But you're right. I mean, that was a big one.
It was an awful loss. It was an awful, awful loss. On the other side, I don't want to jump ship from the East too much, but like Calgary.
Yeah, dude. We'll talk about that in a second.
Losing to fucking Chicago. It's like there's nonsense going on.
So you see what the breakdown is here, okay? And you understand the tiebreakers. Here is the remaining schedules, okay?
Okay.
Florida, who's currently in first, versus Ottawa, at Washington, versus Toronto, versus Carolina.
On paper, that's 2-2. You should beat Ottawa. You should beat Washington. You should lose to Toronto and Carolina.
Yep, both home.
Still.
Islanders, currently in second, their schedule. Versus Tampa, versus Philly, at Washington, versus Montreal.
That feels like 3-1.
I know, dude. Maybe even 4-0.
Yeah. No.
Why not?
They're not beating Tampa.
Okay.
I mean, they shouldn't beat Tampa.
Penguins schedule. 1 point back. Versus the Wild.
Loss.
At Red Wings.
That's a tough game.
Versus the Hawks.
Should be a win.
Versus the Blue Jackets.
Should be a win. Fuck. Damn.
Sabres remaining.
What's frustrating is it doesn't even matter.
But they have 2 extra games, dude.
Still.
at
It could be a
Jackets.
Could be a 6-game slate with the Jackets and the Ducks, and they'd still fucking find ways to lose.
At Red Wings
Loss.
versus Carolina.
Loss.
At Rags.
Loss.
At Devils
Loss.
versus Ottawa.
Loss.
At Blue Jackets.
Win.
Sabres are out.
I read my eulogy. I'm sticking with the reverse jinx. But, it is so hysterically perfect that they definitely have the hardest slate.
Oh my God, it's insane.
I mean, that Blue Jackets game is nice, but like that is...
So here's a few things that I thought were interesting. So let's ignore the Sabres. Reverse jinx fully on.
Mm-hmm.
Florida has the toughest schedule of the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
But some of those, Toronto, they're already locked. They're locked in their spot. Carolina, it's the last game of the season. They probably will be locked. You know what I mean? Like there's a chance. I'm not saying they're trying to lose, but there's a chance that it doesn't matter.
And it does look like Toronto. I mean, it would be so Toronto if Tampa goes on a 5-game run here and Toronto drops 3 or 4. But yeah. I mean, fucking A, man.
So let me say that to you really fast again. Florida, Ottawa, Washington, Leafs, Hurricanes, Islanders, Lightning, Flyers, Caps, Montreal, Penguins, Wild, Red Wings, Hawks, Blue Jackets. Mm-hmm. Who you got?
We've done this before, and I don't know. I think it is these 3 teams. I think it's Florida, Islanders, Pitt. I don't think Buffalo has it in them. I think they're too far back. They're 5 points back. You know, like that's 2 wins and an OT loss. And sure, you've got 6 games, but
brutal schedule.
It's just a brutal schedule. So I think they're out. Man, this is nuts. I think part of me wants to say that Crosby will will their way in. I think
Hawks and Jackets, you have to.
I think
like, Crosby minimum 2 wins.
I think Crosby will be like, there's no fucking way I'm missing playoffs. But Florida,
Ottawa, Washington, Leafs, Canes. It's kind of brutal.
If Florida goes win-win, it like in those next 2.
Yeah.
If they go what is it? Washington
Ottawa,
and Ottawa.
Yeah, home versus Ottawa at Washington.
If they go win-win, I think they're in. I think that they don't fuck this up. But I could see Pitt and Islanders flopping. I could see the Islanders.
Islanders got Philly and
out
Montreal and Washington.
Yeah.
Tough one at Tampa or versus Tampa, but
yeah.
All right, give me 2.
Man. I think Florida gets in. I think it's Florida and...
You get Florida at the 1?
I think it's Florida at the 1 and Pitt at the 2. I think the Islanders get bounced.
I got Pitt at the 1. I got Pitt at the 1 and Islanders at the 2.
How electric would it be if Buffalo goes on a 6-game win streak?
It would be fucking awesome.
6-game win streak. They finish with 93 points.
Is that what they'd be at?
Yeah.
Yeah. God.
That would be fucking awesome.
Okay, those are the picks. Em, can you scroll down to the west? Yep, great job. Keep going a little bit. Keep going a little bit. Keep going a little bit. Okay, stop. All right. The West, Dan. Seattle's in. I'm not even going to talk about it.
Agreed.
Okay?
Seattle's making this is a 3-way battle between Winnipeg, Calgary, and Nashville.
Right now, the Jets have the 2 spot. 77 games, 89 points, 33 wins in regulation.
Mm-hmm.
The Flames are just out at 3. 78 games, 87 points, 29 wins in regulation. And miraculously, the Predators,
after having a fire sale at the deadline,
77 games, 86 points, and 28 wins in regulation. Can I give you their schedules, please?
Absolutely.
And you're going to fucking love this.
Okay, Winnipeg.
Jets have 4 games left versus Calgary tonight.
I'm very aware.
Game 2 versus the Predators. Game 3 versus the Sharks. Game 4 at the Wild. Oh, they have 5. Game 4 at the Wild. Game 5 at the Avs.
That's Winnipeg.
Yep. Flames.
Dude, that could be a 0-5 stretch.
Yes, dude.
No,
The
not
Sharks. The Sharks. Flames at Jets, at Canucks, versus the Predators, versus the Sharks. And then the Predators
That feels like 2-2. Okay.
versus Carolina, at Jets, at Flames,
Oh my god.
versus the Wild, versus the Avs.
That's the Preds?
Yeah.
Oh, they might
Canes,
be toast.
Jets, Flames, Wild, Avs.
They might be absolutely toast.
But dude, it's really gonna these next 3 games. They round robin each other.
Yeah.
Literally the next 3 or the next 2-3 weeks, 2-3 games. They play a round robin. So this is it. It's coming down to it right here.
Fucking A.
So
okay.
Preds have a murderous row. Let's just for argument assume they're out. Jets go Flames, Preds, Sharks, Wild, Avs, and the Flames go Jets, Canucks, Preds, Sharks.
I'm going chalk. I think Seattle's one. I think Winnipeg gets in.
Really?
I think the extra game that Calgary has played and being 2 points back is brutal. But yeah, absolutely. If Calgary beats Winnipeg tonight, you're tied.
We're live.
And you're live, but I think that extra game is just going to hurt them.
And you started talking about earlier, but would you like to discuss why they are down 2 points having played an extra game?
Yeah, I mean, they fucking lost to the Blackhawks last night. Like, dude, you could be tied right now. You could be tied.
It would be a bloodbath.
You would be tied in points. Sure, there's the extra game, but it would just be so much pressure on tonight.
And then what's regulation wins? No, they're pretty far.
Yeah,
so
they're far
they
back.
need the points. Yeah.
They need the points. You could be tied right now with a game against Winnipeg, coming in with some mojo, and you let the fucking
my God.
shithawks score however 5 goals, 4 goals.
4 or 5, yeah.
It's like, what the hell are
3,
you
4, 5
idiots
times.
doing?
I guarantee it was a case of looking ahead. You know, they had their eyes on the Jets game and just
Yeah.
blew past the Hawks. But dude, and I want to talk about this in Hottest Teams, we can do it now. That is unacceptable, Soldier, on both levels, on both teams.
I know.
What is going on?
Like, why are the Blackhawks winning?
Yeah, and you just can't lose that game. I actually, and I'm going to talk about the Ducks later too, but the Hawks were on an 8-game skid, and a tip of the cap, sir, to that performance, to that tank job. Like, thank you for getting in the game and knowing what's up at the end of the year here. And then
Seriously.
you beat the Flames for no fucking reason. A team that's trying so hard to win.
That one feels like, like their last 10, Calgary is 6-3-1. They're hot right now. But it's like, that's got to be 7-2-1. I'm sorry. You cannot lose to the Blackhawks. I mean,
It's ridiculous, dude.
fucking hell, man. That is so brutal. Look at the Ducks, dude.
Dude, I'm going to, hold on.
The Ducks,
because I'm going to talk about
the
that
Ducks
later too.
are on an 8-game losing streak.
Okay.
They are 1-9 in their last 10. That is how you do it, dude. That's how you go and throw your fucking hat in the ring.
Oh my God.
It's so frustrating. But this feels like Calgary. This is Calgary. This is what Calgary has done all year.
Mm-hmm.
It's so infuriating for them, for the fans, for the players. It's just fucking Christ, man. How do you lose to the Chicago Blackhawks? What are you doing?
So you're going chalk. You got the Jets. I'm going Flames. And I'll tell you why. They're going to beat the Jets tonight. And then I think they could almost rip off the rest of the year. Like if they beat the Jets, they could then beat the Canucks, beat the Preds, beat the Sharks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, if you win those 4, let's see, they're at what? 87. So they'd be at 95. And
You want them to win 4 straight?
I think they could rip those 4.
Okay.
And if they're at 95, the Jets are at 89. So they need 6 points. Can the Jets win 3 of these? Flames, Preds, Sharks, Wild, Avs.
Yeah, that's hard.
But I'm saying they lose to the Flames, so they'd have to beat Preds and Sharks and then try to catch one of Wild Avs. So yeah, I'm taking Flames. It'd take a lot.
Jets are on a 2-game win streak. They're hot,
Yep.
But fuck me.
So you brought it up. Those are our picks. Really excited to see
Yeah.
this race shake down. You brought it up, so I'm just going to skip to it now. But a big shout out to the Ducks, dude. Like, this is a masterclass.
I mean, it's just
in
beautiful.
tanking. Can you remember, actually, because I can't, when we listed this off and we were chirping Keller and the Coyotes for being too good, we were listing it, and it was like the Blue Jackets and the Sharks were in the discussion. Were the Ducks right there too last when we were talking about this?
They were like fifth. They were fifth up. Like they were.
Yeah.
You know, they're not in last.
They
place,
definitely weren't last,
but they were in the conversation. Arizona though lost 4 in a row.
Yep.
Like they had a 3-game win streak, and then they're like, let's fucking check.
But dude,
ourselves
do
here.
something special. Lose 8 games in a row.
I agree. Like you're too high.
They
like,
are in the basement, dude, and it is so awesome. And that's, by the way, officially where I want Bedard to go. I don't know if I've said that on the air yet, but I hope he ends up... No, the Ducks.
Oh.
I just think it would be so fun if he was on the team with all those kids.
Yeah, with like Trev and Troy and all that. That would be fun. So yeah, the Ducks would lose 8 in a row, get themselves in dead last
Dude, they're
place.
in the basement, Dan. It's incredible. It's a fucking beautiful effort. And
That's
what's crazy
beautiful work,
is Chicago
dude.
was there too. Chicago was there, and then they beat they were below them, dude. And then they beat the Flames. Like morons, dude.
God.
It's unbelievable. And if you look at it, dude, Ducks, Hawks, and Blue Jackets, all 77 games, 56 points. Sharks, 77 games, 60 points. They ain't out of it. Everyone's looking at these wild card races. I got my eyes glued to the bottom, dude. This is going to be really interesting.
I mean, it doesn't guarantee anything.
I know.
We always talk about it, but yeah, you want all those lottery balls. Give me all the balls. Put all the balls.
All the
in it.
balls, dude.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Kind of fucking electric stuff.
Yeah, those are our wild card picks, but and a look at the bottom of the league. But
Good, dude,
Good
a tip of the
God.
cap to the Ducks, sir.
well done, Anaheim.
Okay, next piece of hot ice. I have a bunch of things I would like to talk to you about the Edmonton Oilers.
Hit me.
So I saw a terrifying stat as a Bruins fan today, okay? The Boston Bruins have obviously dominated this year. They could set the NHL wins record. They have already won the President's Trophy, etc. Best team in the league by a mile.
Well said.
For the first 90 days, so 3 months-ish, of the NHL season, the Bruins had the best record in the league. Day 1 to day 90. From day 91 for the next 86 days, which takes us to today, the Oilers have the best record in the league.
Interesting.
Very interesting. They traded for Matthias Ekholm.
Is it by 3 games?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
But since they traded for Ekholm, the Oilers are 14-2-1.
I mean, that's good deadline work. It's what I said. I said you got to get yourself a fucking big ass D-man, and they did it.
They look scary. Well, let me keep going. McDavid, obviously nuclear, 147 points. Draisaitl, 123 points. RNH, 99 points.
Yeah, he's going to have 100 points.
The Oilers would become the 14th team in NHL history with at least 3 players with 100 points in a season, and the first team since 1995 when the Penguins did it with Lemieux, Yager, and our boy Ronnie Francis. That Penguins team lost in the conference finals in 7 to the Panthers. Just saying.
To the Panthers?
Yeah.
Unexpected.
I think Van Beesbrook, that year. We're saving our playoff predictions for next week, probably, so I'm not having you say any of that. But what I would like to hear from you is how worried should the rest of the league be about the Oilers right now?
I would say as worried as they were last year.
Interesting, not more.
I'm going to be honest, man. That, like, what was that? 14-2-1?
14-2-1.
That's fantastic. Like, that's an incredible rip. I don't care about that. I'm not scared of them if I'm a top team in the West. If I'm Dallas, Vegas, Colorado, LA, Minnesota, I'm not afraid of Edmonton.
Dude.
Not more afraid of Edmonton than I should be is what I mean. I'm not sitting there going, yeah, they're a cakewalk. I'm going, yeah, it's Edmonton. It's a hard series, but I'm not like, holy fuck, dude, they're good. Because to me, they're getting good wins, but at the end of the day, I have major doubts about their goaltending. I have major doubts about their defense in a 7-game series.
But don't you
think Oilers are the most top-heavy fucking team that has ever existed? And yes, Draisaitl, RNH, Connor, all over 100 points. They are absurd. But dude, when you get into a 7-game series against a good team, they go like this. You have 3 players. Neutralize the 3 players as best as you can, and then you fucking lose. And that's what's happened to Connor and Draisaitl every year of their career. I'm not saying that they're not going to make a good run. I think that they're going to probably go to the Western Conference Finals. I think there's a decent chance of that. Again, not making my predictions, but I will not be surprised if they get there. I don't think that team has the screws to win a championship. I don't.
So my pushback slightly is that I feel like the Oilers last year, can't remember how many points they had. Oh, they got a 100-point season last year.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. The Oilers last year were the Devils this year to me, where I'm like, ooh, that's cool. That's a great season. But I don't know if you've got the playoff resume yet to kind of make a good run. And then they did. They made an awesome run last year, which is why this year, if I'm in the West, they scare me so much more because they've made a run. They kind of know what it's like. And you got to stop the puck. You were very right about that, and they have some big questions there. But I do think the narrative is slightly off that there's no supporting cast, they're top-heavy, because of these trades. Like Bukestad, Ekholm, Nurse is still there. Like they have good D. They have pretty good D. And yeah, they're top-heavy, but teams would pray to be top-heavy. Teams would pray to have 300-point guys.
Yeah, I guess. I don't think so, though, because like we looked it up, no team. Obviously, things have changed, and it changed. Actually, I think technically not last year because McKinnon's contract wasn't big until this year. Is that right?
Maybe. I can't remember.
But it's like the only team in NHL history to make it to the final with a player on their roster making more than $10 million is the Montreal Canadiens with Carey Price, and they got gentlemen swept out of it, out of a bubble Stanley Cup. So, like, I don't think teams would pray to be top heavy like that. Like, they're paying $15 fucking million, it feels like, to these guys, and that's why they're top heavy. And again, the cap's changing, the game is changing.
Right, that's what I was just going to say. I was like,
and I don't like your Devils comp at all, personally. I think Carolina of last year is a better comp. I think Carolina and Edmonton were the same teams last year. Like, they were like, damn, you're really good. You've got a pretty young core. You're making some noise this year. Good regular seasons. You get to the second round, Carolina, then you're out. Edmonton made it to the conference finals. You're out. And now this year, sure, is a little bit different. The Ekholm trade is amazing. Absolutely. I don't know. I'm just saying I have not seen a single Oilers game, and that's not me being like, oh, I didn't watch a lot of I've watched plenty of Oilers games.
Yeah.
I have not really seen a single Oilers game this year where I'm like, damn, that the team won that game. Connor has a point on every fucking goal.
Yeah.
and listen, he's done it all season long, so there's an argument to be made saying he could just do it all playoffs long too. But I just don't think we've ever seen that, dude. Every time there's a team that's like this, you're riding the back of this superstar, you lose. Why didn't Wayne Gretzky win more cups?
Yeah.
Brutal question, dude. Brutal question. But why didn't Wayne Gretzky win more cups?
Well, hockey, I think, is one of the hardest. You know, if you have a hot quarterback, if you have a good pitcher, there's a lot of play. Like NBA, they play the whole game. You know, like LeBron wins.
Yeah.
Like hockey, I think, is the hardest as a skater.
Definitely.
If your goalie goes nuclear, you can.
But that's my point, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, Draisaitl has 123 points or whatever it is, and he's going to have more.
Yeah.
It's not like Connor's the only player on this team, but the team goes with Connor. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying, you know, Gretzky was out here having 160-point seasons every year. He didn't win the cup every year.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm just saying.
So you're not that worried?
I'm not that worried
about the Oilers.
But again, that's to say I've watched Connor be a freak all season long, and he is hands down the best hockey player I have ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's better than Gretzky. I'm saying I wasn't really alive and watching hockey when Gretzky was in his heyday. So for me, it's not even close.
Yep.
Like, you know, Ovechkin, Crosby, Datsuk, all these guys who fucking blew my hair back. Connor is making a mockery of the league. He is preposterous. But I look at what happens to that team when it's playoff hockey, and I'm not sitting here going, he can't win, but I am saying that I don't think it's a certainty that this team is like definitely going to make noise. I don't.
Me neither, but they for my money, they are the second scariest team in the West behind only Colorado. And they could lose in the fucking first round to the Kings. I might even pick that. I'm just saying they are the second scary. If I'm the Bruins, for example, I'd rather play the Kings or Vegas or Dallas or whoever the fuck else, Minnesota, than the Oilers.
Yeah, it's just so interesting when a team goes through one guy like this. You'd like to say, why hasn't anyone been able to slow him down all season?
Yeah,
because they haven't. When you play a team, hopefully 7 times in a row or less, if you're doing well, it's easier to slow a guy down. It's
matchups get you're really tracking the matchups. Home ice. Yep.
So I don't know. It'll be devastating though. It will be devastating if and when Edmonton just like, oh my God, they lost the first 2 games, or they've fallen behind in a series and Connor's getting frustrated and their goaltending is leaking and it's just like this.
That's the real one.
Here you're dead yet again, and I'm just like, well,
dude, I saw a ton on Twitter that was like,
God, I can't fucking wait for playoffs.
I saw so much on
I'm
Twitter.
going to get nothing done.
Oh, it's just going to be a joke. I'm going to go to as many games as humanly possible.
Holy shit. You didn't by chance see anything on Twitter, did you?
I did see something on Twitter, Dan, and it said this: if the Oilers lose this year, everyone was like, it's not fair to Connor. He's got to get his cup. He needs to leave. They got to blow it up. They never give him anybody.
That's dumb.
And I'm kind of arguing against that. And I know you were saying they're top heavy, which they obviously technically are, but I'm like, no, they went out and got defensemen. They're getting players. They're bringing people in. They have done right by Connor, according to me, with the maybe exception of goaltending, but they've tried to do something there too.
In my opinion, top heavy is reserved for forward lines.
Okay.
I think that they have 2 of the best top 2 lines in the league. And I think their bottom 6 is fucking nothing.
And
no offense.
Part of that was active. They went out and got Ekholm and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Part of it, and this is what I wanted to ask you about real quick, was a little lucky with this RNH moonshot. Like, dude, his career high was 69 points before this season.
Yeah, he has gone nuclear.
He's going to go $105, dude.
It's interesting because I part of me felt like maybe he got a better shot this year, but that's not really
I don't
the
know.
case.
I think
I
he's playing PP1 now. I think he's got like 15 power play goals, maybe. I think I swear I saw that.
He's just so good, man.
But dude, it's
crazy.
Nuts, Dan.
Yeah.
And I always loved him, I guess not loved him because I wasn't an Oilers guy, but I wanted better for him because I felt like there was that stretch of Oilers picks that were just not quite working out. Do you remember that? I looked it up. So
there was a ton of whenever he's gotten his new contracts, there's been people chirping on Twitter who have been like, "Oh, get rid of RNH."
Agreed,
and I've always been like, he's a great player. I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about.
But it was a little. I
would not have called him having 100.
It was a little DeBrusque, right? Where you're like, yeah, he's got 50, 60 points, which is not bad in the National, obviously. Yeah. But I'm like,
I feel like he's always been better than DeBrusque.
He has, but he was also one.
Yeah.
Yep. But so listen to this, dude. Eberle in 2008 went in the first round, 22nd overall, so not super high. But Eberle, I just felt like I remember thinking Eberle was going to be so good, and he's a very, very solid NHL player. But that felt like this one in Edmonton that was going to blossom into this extreme talent, and it didn't work out. Then, dude. So that was 2008. 2010, Taylor Hall, first overall to the Oilers. Plays 6 seasons, 6 good ones, by the way, but then gone. Wins an MVP for Jersey. See you later. 2011, the very next year, they picked first overall again, take RNH, and was only okay for the first handful of seasons. Mm-hmm. Then 2012, they picked first overall again, 3 years in a row. Niall Yakupov plays 4 seasons for the Oilers, gone.
Yeah, he's terrible.
So I'm like, dude, you went
a huge bust.
First overall, 3 years in a row, dude, and you've got Taylor Hall gone, Yakupov gone, and a middling RNH. Yeah. Then 2013, the very next year, Darnell Nurse, 7th overall, very solid. The very next year, 2014, 3rd overall, Draisaitl. And the very next year, 2015, 1st overall, McDavid. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, they are the 70. Trust the fucking process, dude. They are the 76ers picking 1st overall at fucking 4 out of 5 years? 4 out of 6 years.
It's so crazy.
Everyone's like, how are the Oilers good? And I'm like, I know how they're good. They've had the best. They've had the top pick every year in the fucking draft.
They've had top 8 picks for the last 8 years.
Isn't that insane, dude? Starting at 2010 to 2015, 1-1-1-7-3-1.
Yeah. Woof.
But dude, now it's
here they are.
off.
They were in the Western Conference Finals last year. They look fantastic right now.
And the RNH resurgence has been pretty fucking sick, and I'm pumped for him, dude.
Me too. He's a phenomenal player. So I'm not. That's not true. I was going to say I'm not surprised by this. I'm not surprised he's a great player. I am delightfully surprised he has a 100 point. Yeah, but That's fucking wild.
So let me hit you with this, dude. This is the Vegas BetMGM. Everybody sign up right now. BetMGM odds for the Cup. Bruins plus 375.
Okay.
Plus 650 second. The Avs.
That is correct.
You support.
100%.
Plus 900 third. The Leafs.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Also plus 900, tied for third. Canes. That's massive Canes disrespect, in my humble fucking opinion. You want to sound off on that yet, or keep going?
No, keep going.
Plus 1100, fifth. The Oilers. Also plus 1100, the Devils. Plus 1200, Vegas. Plus 1200, Rags. Plus 1400, Lightning. Plus 1400, Dallas. Plus 2000, Wild. Plus 2000, Kings. And I stopped there.
Okay. Personally, I would like to say disrespect to the Kings, but I kind of like the odds because of Phoenix. You have
Fair. Yeah.
you have a goalie who's played 20 games, or not, more than that, but actually maybe not.
What's
more
the
than that.
split been since Korpisalo came in? Do you know?
I don't know in front of me. Korpisalo's been they're tandeming.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I don't think it's disrespect to them. I think massive disrespect to Dallas.
Oh, really?
Dallas is just plummeted down there, and they are a phenomenal team with one of the best goalies in the league.
Fact.
So I don't really know what that... I mean, that is crazy how low they are.
Nice value. Nice value for anybody.
I am a little rattled that they have New York so low.
Same. I thought that would be way higher.
New York was in...
Tied with Vegas?
That's pretty low.
I mean, I guess Vegas was winning, or is still winning. Yeah, is still winning their division, and the Rags are in third in their own, so they're like, whatever. But I agree with the Kane hype. It just felt like they were going to be a Cup favorite.
Toronto being third. Or is it third, or is it tied with...
Tied with the Canes.
Tied with the Canes, yeah. Toronto being third is so...
And just to be clear,
it's so clickbaity.
They have less points than the Hurricanes, less points than the Devils, and I think they're maybe one up on the Rags. Like, they could be Bruins, Canes. They could be like fifth in the East.
I think they have 102 and the Rags have 101 or something like that. Yeah. I think that's crazy because they might get shit pumped by the Bolts right now. I mean, you are going up against, and I know fucking... Oh my God, man. You're going up against Vasilevsky in the playoffs. And Vasilevsky is hot right now, by the way. And there's a chance that he
doesn't even wake up till till
why
March.
Would
dude.
he?
Yeah.
And they're about to waltz into a April playoff series against Andrei Vasilevsky, who's possibly like this. I literally don't give in goals.
Yeah.
If I do not let in goals in the playoffs. So,
dude.
While I have said, and I mean this on record, I would like to see the Maple Leafs get out of the first round. I want new blood. I want new action. I want to see the monkey get off the back. I want to see what happens. I would also die laughing. Die if they got swept in the first round.
Yeah.
There's
no way.
In my opinion, there's no planet where that happens. However, if it did happen, it would be the most electric content on planet Earth. And I would feel so bad for Maple Leafs fans.
Yeah. I always say this every time we're watching like the fucking Little League World Series or even March Madness, which was just on. I have a hard time as I age watching athletes lose stuff. Because I just remember how horrible it feels, and just the camera always goes to them, and these guys are just and girls are devastated, and I'm like, I don't like it.
It's awful.
And we have said this a few times where the Leafs have been a funny thing to me as not a Leafs fan. I'm like, whatever, they're losing in the first round. This is hysterical. But I also want them to win this year because A, that's enough. They have families.
Oh,
and
my God.
B, looking at Austin Matthews in that handshake line last year, half his soul had left his body. He only has half to give. So if they lose this year too, I'm like, it's all over.
And you also start to know these guys. Like I don't want to watch Mitch lose. And it's like,
oh my God,
it's awful. Yeah, I'm not about it.
I love that they have the Avs second, and you agreed because so do I. And
yeah, I mean they're the same fucking team
with like a 50 goal scoring Moose, and they were this sleeping giant this whole time. And I'm glad the odds are reflecting that. So for the same logic, I should be understanding that they have the Oilers so high too. But it seems crazy to me that they have, the Oilers behind Vegas, a team that's ahead of them in the standings. Like the Canes not being ahead of the Leafs blew my mind, and the Oilers being the 5th favorite to win the Cup kind of blew my mind. I'm not even saying I don't think they'll get that far. I'm just saying like the Rags aren't ahead of the Oilers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, the Rags have been doing so well, but Shesty's not Shesty's not the Shesty that they all thought he was.
That's a fact.
And it's wild.
Okay, so you're largely okay with the odds except for the Leafs in 3rd.
And Dallas. I think Dallas is way too
that was a
fucking
pretty good
low.
one. That was a pretty good one.
What rattles me about Carolina? Your goalie is Frederick Anderson. That's it.
They lost in 7 to the Rags last year.
I just, and the Avs won with Darcy Kemper last year. It's you don't need a Vezina guy. You don't need it, but it's helpful.
Doesn't the regular season body of work mean anything? Like, they're a fucking wagon, dude.
I just don't know, man. It's like, what's so funny to me is that there's no team currently in the play. Wow, this is actually an interesting thought for me here. There is no team off the top of my head in the Stanley Cup playoffs currently who has a goalie that I think is like, I know what it takes to win, and I have proven it, other than Shesterkin. Or, other than Vasilevsky.
Can I push back on one?
I want to see if I can think of it. And I know Rangers fans will be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Shesterkin is, took us to
No, but you're right. Yeah.
Uh,
I'm actually going to push back on 2.
I would hear Quick,
Johnny Quick.
but Quick he's old.
Yep. That's what.
Let's face it, you're old.
He could die, dude. He could die at any moment. Old
And I
people
would
die.
hear Otter. Maybe.
Well, I love him, and I think he don't need to know nothing. All he has to do is stop pucks, and he'll do that till he's dead. But
Yeah.
I do think there's another goalie in the playoffs that has multiple championships.
Oh, are you talking about Flower?
Yeah.
Who's going to get benched? like this is what I'm saying.
But
I think,
but maybe not. He could play.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
could play significant time.
But either way, I think Quick and Flower they're just like, I don't even know if you're going to start, dude.
Yep.
That's the thing that's so fucking weird. I think Quick probably will, but Quick is older, man, and like Flower is older. They are both like, yeah, we're in the last legs here.
Yep.
So it's like it's Vazzy, dude. Like fucking Olmark has literally not won a playoff game in his life.
Yeah.
And that's the best team in the league.
Bunking them last year, by the way.
And it's crazy. It's crazy.
That's actually a cool thought, Dan. There's a ton, and this is just changing of the guard, I guess. Actually, let's think about it this way. What goalies are out there right now that you're like, damn, they have Cup pedigree, and they're missing the playoffs?
Yeah, that's
like,
the thing.
Is there no one?
I think, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they might have just aged out of the league.
Yeah, it's like Benner is.
Yeah, but even
he's a Stanley Cup winning goalie, but like he's out of his mind.
But I'm like, that was not Cup pedigree.
Murray is, I think Juice. I think Saros is a.
But they never won shit.
But they've made some good playoff performances.
Yeah.
But that's still interesting.
And can you scroll the teams up a little bit on that?
Scroll up?
Yeah, great. Winnipeg.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Kemper's
it's
gone.
Interesting.
I think, like I said, Otter is like interesting.
And you got some sick goalies in the league, obviously. Otter, Hellebuck, Sorokin. Like, these guys are nasty. And I'm like, dope. But I just don't, it's really only Vasi that's, that you're still scared of. That you're like, damn, that guy can like fucking steal
I think
a cup from me.
I think it's so interesting that so many of these unreal goalies are on teams that are wild card teams.
Mm-hmm. And that's why they're even in contention.
Yeah. So, or then new teams that are great, like Skinner. Skinner is out of nowhere. So,
okay, pretty sick.
Interesting stuff.
All right, I'm going to hit you with a defensive question. Okay, you love defense, Dan. You'll know where I'm going with this, but it's going to be a cool exercise. Only 14 times ever has a defenseman had a 100-point season, a 100-point season in the NHL. 14 times ever. Bobby Orr did it 6 times. Lol. Including the most ever at 139 points in a season. Paul Coffey did it 5 times. Also lol.
Only was 16 or 14?
14.
Only 14 times ever or 14 players?
14 times ever.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got 6 and 5 right there.
Yeah, so there's 11.
Yeah.
Al McGinnis did it once, 103 points. Brian Leach did it once, 102 points. And Dennis Potvin did it once, 101 points.
Yes.
9 times ever has it been over 110 points. And it went in this order. Or coffee, or coffee, or coffee, or coffee.
Ah, man, you love it.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
The other 3 guys hit there, 103, 102, whatever. Erik Karlsson is sitting at 96 points through 77 games.
Yeah, he's going to do it.
We're 4 points away from it being the 15th time ever a defenseman has done it. He's got versus the Avs, home versus the Oilers, at the Jets, at the Flames, at the Oilers.
Yeah, he's going to do it.
Bloodbath schedule, though.
Yeah, but it's just...
But he's been scoring against everybody.
And this is what I'm saying. Like, credit to the Oilers. You guys are cruising, but they do win a lot of games, like 6-4.
Yep.
So
he's
going to do it.
He's got career highs in everything this year already.
I think he is so, like, I have to do this, that he will do it.
Career highs in everything. Career highs in goals, assists, points, all that stuff. He's only 32, by the way. We always think he's super old, and not that he's young, but he's 32.
That's young, dude.
So he's got 7 All-Star appearances.
Yeah.
2 Norris trophies.
Yes.
He's never won the Cup, but he has 37 points in 48 playoff games. It's not horrible. It's not horrible at all.
No.
He went to the conference final with Ottawa in 2016, 2017.
Yep.
They lost to Pitt, who won it.
Yep.
Then he went to the conference finals with the Sharks in 2018-19. They lost to the Blues, who won it. Where does he rank on best defenseman of all time for you right now, especially if he pops 100 piece?
Erik Karlsson is a top 20 defenseman in NHL history for me, and it's obvious. And I say obvious because I think there's a world where I consider him top 15. There's even a conversation where I consider him top 10. That's like what I need to look at.
So obviously, I'm not having this discussion.
I think Erik Karlsson is out of this fucking world,
dude. So I'm not having a discussion with Bork, Lindstrom. Like there's some older guys too that are incredible. Eddie Shore. Like there's like epic defensemen. So I'm not out here being like Erik Karlsson's the top 5 defenseman to ever live. But let me hit you with some guys.
And I'm going to say,
is he better than?
Yeah, I'll go off the cuff, yes or no.
Is he better than Scott Stevens? And I'll give you some stats. Scott Stevens, 13 All-Stars, no Norris.
Such a different time, right?
1 Conn Smythe, 3 Cups.
Can you give me his highest point total ever?
Oh, sure.
My knee-jerk is...
But that one's tough, though, because
how many cups does he have? 3?
3. But that one is going to be tough because of what you just said. Because it's
such a different time.
Yeah.
The answer is no.
Okay. So, he's not better than Scott Stevens.
But that's a fantastic first one to give me.
Scott Stevens in 1993-94, 78 points.
Yeah, the answer is no.
Okay. Next one. Is he better than Chris Pronger?
No.
5 All-Stars, 1 Norris, 1 Cup.
No. And I'm reserving all of this for a comment that I have, or I'm reserving a comment I have after all of this.
Okay, you tell me if you want point totals, or if you have a quick answer, you just give it to me.
Okay.
Okay, so Stevens, not better than Scott Stevens, not better than Chris Pronger. Is he better than Scott Niedermayer?
No.
5 All-Stars, 1 Norris, 1 Conn Smythe, 4 Cups. Is he better than Al McGinnis?
No.
12 All-Stars, 1 Norris, 1 Conn Smythe, 1 Cup. Is he better than Chris Chelios?
No.
11 All-Stars, 3 Norris, 3 Cups.
Yeah.
Is he better than...
I'm upset with how long I hesitated there.
Is he better than... All right, I got 3 more for you, and
okay.
I can't wait to hear your answers. Is he better than Victor Hedman?
Yes.
Hedman, 3 All-Stars, 1 Norris, 1 Conn Smythe, 2 Cups.
Yes, he is, but like Hedman is what, 30?
And what is his highest point total, do you think?
I bet Hedman's highest point total is something like 65.
Really? Hedman is 32 also.
Oh, wow.
And his highest point total is 85 points.
There you go.
21-22 season.
I said 65.
Yeah.
Fucking A. Yeah, I mean,
But you got Karlsson over Hedman.
that is a...
Karlsson has more All-Stars by a lot.
Yeah.
One more Norris.
Yeah.
Far less Conn Smythes.
Dude,
and Cups.
I think that one is preposterously close and could change at the end. Like,
Yeah, when their careers are over.
I'm giving Karlsson the benefit of the doubt
Because he's going to win
here.
Norris this year, so that's 3.
Yes, I'm giving Karlsson the benefit of the doubt here. That is super, super close. To me, dude, Victor Hedman is unbelievable, but also benefited from being drafted by the fucking Tampa Bay Lightning and has been there his entire career.
Yep.
Like, if you put EK65 in that exact same position, they're very different players. Hedman,
Yeah.
Hedman is the 1 or 2 defensive defenseman in the NHL. Probably 1, but maybe 2, in my opinion. And that is so much more important to me in the grand scheme of things than all of these high-flying, point-scoring defensemen. But I don't think Karlsson's a bad defenseman. And I just think if you put Karlsson on that team, I think they probably have the same success.
Oh, if Karlsson's on this Lightning
On
team?
the Lightning.
Yeah.
And like then he has
That's
all
cool
the
thought.
cups.
Yep.
So I put Karlsson above Hedman a little bit.
Championships are always hard. Okay, so you have Karlsson above Hedman. Next one. Duncan Keith.
No.
4 All-Stars, 3 Norris, 1 Conn Smythe, 3 Cups.
Yeah. I had a feeling you were going to say him. He is not.
That one is so interesting to me, and I'm really surprised by your quick reaction. And I know I'm about to get fucking tuned. Up by Hawks fans.
It's horseshit that I make the stance because like he has a very similar resume to Hedman.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, actually, fucking fair, by the way. And the Conn Smythes matter, dude. Like that, I almost rate over Cup, just the Cups, because like you can just kind of like piggyback on a
Agree.
Cup when I'm like, you were the fucking best player in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So the fact that Hedman and Keith have a Conn Smythe, that's fucking legitimate. But again, like I would love to talk to like Johnny Taze and Kane about it because maybe they are like, dude, no, Duncan, we lose those Cups.
Well,
Duncan Keith,
I think Duncan Keith has that amongst his teammates, Team Canada people. They're like that guy was a fucking rock.
And I know like his fucking, it's hard, like you hear Whit Dog talk about all the time, like your ankles kind of go, like it's hard to fucking skate and play that long at that level. But it's weird to me when I'm like, Erik Karlsson just seems so much more talented than Duncan Keith to me. Like just when I'm watching the game, I'm like,
Yeah,
there's
he's a
no
freak,
way
dude.
Duncan Keith is better than Erik Karlsson.
He's a freak.
But then if Erik Karlsson was on the Hawks, he has 3 cups and Duncan Keith's like a middling senator and no one gives a fuck, you know? And that could be complete bullshit, but it's just like, that's where my brain goes.
I feel you, dude. And Karlsson's just so tough for me because I think a lot of people look at Karlsson as like a whatever, dude. Karlsson's whatever.
Yep.
And he's about to have 3 fucking Norris trophies. He's about to have 100
That's
points
so
in a
legit,
season.
dude.
And my thing with Karlsson, dude, is he is plagued by being on the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
No offense, fan base. Truly, like no offense. It was just a bad stretch.
Yeah.
And then the San Jose Sharks.
Sharks, but that was a fuck up. Like that should have been.
Oh yeah,
they, like,
I mean
brought those
that's
guys in
why
to be
they
good.
went. You know, they went to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
But then it's just been a shitstorm since. So, yeah.
So you have him worse than everybody except Hedman so far. Last one, Zdeno Chara. 6 All-Stars, 1 Norris, 1 Cup.
Wow.
Isn't that one fascinating? This one bottled my brain up. My knee jerk
I think
is you
he's
have
better.
to say yes.
I think he's better.
You have to. He's got 100 points easy. He's got
Dude,
3
I
Norris
think he's
trophies.
better, and like Bruins fans will eat me for this, but I mean, it's tough because Chara came into the league as like a guy who barely played hockey growing up, was like a forward, and then switched to defense and was bounced around. He was a lower draft pick.
Yeah.
Was nothing on the Islanders, and then something on the Senators, and then became a legend in Boston.
Yeah.
And that's where he won his Norris. That's where he won his cup. But, Z's getting you. Was the best lockdown defenseman in the league for a long time. That's super important. But what was he getting you? 30 points? Like he wasn't on the stat sheet really in the points column. That is something, dude. When you're talking about all of these guys, that is something. Like a fucking brick shithouse like Scott Stevens had an 80-point season.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there are guys who can do
crazy.
both.
Yeah.
Z never really did I'd be curious to see what's his highest point total. I bet it's something in the 40s.
I'll look it up while you go.
Maybe 50s, actually. But I would guess 40s. And, yeah, I mean, I fucking love Z. But I think that there's something to be said about I'll take this.
52.
52, yeah.
Not too shabby. Z?
I'll take this. I'll take this heat for this hot take. I think the Boston Bruins lost the 2013 Stanley Cup final against the Chicago Blackhawks because Z was too old.
Z and Seidenberg slowed down.
And when you think about how much longer he played for the Bruins after that,
at a pretty high level.
As the top D-man, that was my thing. I didn't think he needed to be off the team, but he was the top D-man, and he was going up against Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews, and after 3 games, they started to eat him alive because it was so long. And I mean, fucking A, man, that was, 10 years ago, and he's 40 now. So, like, I'm just saying, Erik Karlsson, if he were on a Stanley Cup caliber team right now, I don't think Erik Karlsson is slowing down in a 7-game series. I don't. And that's no detriment to Z. Z's an absolute machine. I love him like a family member.
Yeah.
But I think Karlsson is better.
Thank you for playing. That was wonderful. My knee-jerk, I have 2 conflicting ideologies here. My knee-jerk was, I'm like, dude, I got Karlsson better, especially after this year. I got him over Stevens. I got him over Pronger.
Stevens was a tough
and I got
one
him
for
over
me.
Chara, because I'm like, these guys, they like Karlsson. They were like hard-nosed defensemen for sure, but like Karlsson just brings so much more to the fucking game than they did. But when I got to the Chara one in my head, I was like, man, I wonder. Like, as I said, Karlsson too. I was like, I wonder if you asked players what they think. My gut there tells me the players would be like, Chara's better than him because it was so much harder to play against Chara. Like, I wonder, and maybe they say the same about Pronger and Stevens, where they were like, yeah, Karlsson's sick, but like, fucking just play D against him. It's like Chara is affecting the fucking game. Chara is going out there against that first year we won the cup, dude, or that 2011 season.
Yeah,
he went out and shut the fuck down the top line every time.
100%.
And you're not getting that from Karlsson really. So I'm
that's very true. But you're not getting that from Cale Makar.
That's what I wanted to bring up after.
And I think everyone in the league goes, it's fucking impossible to play against this guy.
He's scarier than Karlsson, though, right?
I don't know. Not this season.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's a chance that people would say Karlsson's getting these points in losses. And I always hate that argument because I'm like, I don't give a fuck if you're winning or losing. You're not trying to let another team score. Erik Karlsson from the blue line is about to have 100 fucking points, dude. That is a guy that you cannot stop.
Yep.
So, I think so many people go, Cale Makar is impossible to play against.
Yeah.
I think if you ask anyone right now, is Erik Karlsson easy to... That's not fair, but is Erik Karlsson much less difficult to play against than Cale Makar? I think so many people in that division are like, fuck no, dude.
Yeah.
That guy is a monster. Because he is. Mm-hmm. And I wonder... Stevens and Pronger were tough ones for me. I still think no. I just think that those guys... I mean, Chris Pronger, dude, was phenomenal. He's
I'm
one...
actually curious about his stats.
That's what I'm saying. He's one that's surprising to me that he never hit 100. Because I'm sure he's been in the 90s. And that's like a... to do that and then also be... Because Pronger was a Scott Stevens.
Career high for Pronger, 62.
Oh wow, I'm way off on that.
So yeah, like that's what I'm kind of saying, dude. He was not like a huge point guy. I mean, he won a Hart, which is pretty sick.
He
won a Hart and a Norris.
That's a dash on the stat sheet for me.
Plus 52 that year.
That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy.
He won a Hart, so I was like, he must have been pretty high, but that must have been a trap season. So,
but you know what I mean? Like there's no answer. It's a fascinating conversation because it's really cool to try to figure it out.
That is cool.
And dude, I fucking love Karlsson. Like,
me too.
Regardless of where you rank him, he is the fucking
Absolutely
man. I hope he gets 100, and I hope he has 5 more incredible years in the hockey.
That one thing I was going to say, and I truly, dude, I think I stand by this. He's going to win the Norris Trophy this year. I don't think I would give it to him.
Who would you give it to?
I think the Norris Trophy has turned into who has the most points as a defenseman.
It has, which is stupid, but if you get 100, you get it, I think.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
However, it seems crazy to me to give the best defenseman in the NHL award to a team that is so bad.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah,
fair, though, because he's like, well, dude, I'm playing great fucking defense. If you pull up his stats, I'd be curious what his plus minus is.
Just thinking that,
I know
too.
people don't think plus minus matters, but I'd be very curious to see what his plus minus is. I bet it's probably like +9. And that's interesting to me because you've got a guy who has 100 points. What is it?
-15.
So he's yeah, the Sharks are bad. But if you
I bet he's close to the best plus minus on the team. He logs a lot of minutes, but I bet his plus minus isn't that bad.
If you have 100 points and you're a -15, that's pretty tough. That definitely has something to say about your team and how they're playing. Absolutely. But I look at a guy like Hampus Lindholm and frankly Charlie McAvoy. I'm not saying that's who I would give it to, but I think Charlie McAvoy has something like 54 points right now. I think Hampus Lindholm has something like 53 points right now. And Hampus Lindholm, I think, is like a +50 on the season.
Karlsson has of people that have played more than 50 games this year, he has like the 7th highest plus minus on the Sharks. So it's not like...
Yeah, okay. So Hampus Lindholm has 51 points and is +46 on the season. They're obviously the best team in the league. So this is slightly unfair to compare. But I mean... Man, oh man, is that a great stat?
It's a phenomenal stat.
Like, it's such an impressive stat.
How much PK does he get? Do you know?
I think a fair amount.
Yeah, because I know there's always shit like that, too, that matters, right?
Yeah,
like Carlo's out on the PK all the time.
Yeah, but I mean, Brandon Carlo's out on the PK all the time. He's +39.
I know. That's why I'm like, that's fucking
crazy.
incredible.
So, I think an interesting stat, dude, is like, Karlsson's leading the league in points. I think Quinn Hughes for defenseman is in 3rd, maybe 2nd.
I think he might be 2nd.
I think he might be 2nd. And he's got like 80 points. Yeah. And I'm like, no one's even talking about him. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't even have close to the goals. I think he has 7 goals and like fucking, my goodness, like 70 assists.
Yeah.
But it's because Vancouver stinks. And
so the Sharks.
They're better than the Sharks.
Yeah.
And he's not even being whispered in the... I mean, I know when the who are the candidates, he'll be one of them. Mm-hmm. But I think people will be like, yeah, I mean, whatever, Quinn Hughes. And I'm like, what do you mean, whatever, Quinn Hughes?
He's a fucking savage. Dude.
And
he's so good.
I wish that the Norris Trophy, I suppose this is my take. Erik Karlsson's going to win the Norris Trophy. I wish, personally, that the Norris Trophy voting was completely rethought about. I think it should become more of a defensive player of the year. I think that's one thing that the NBA does great. It's like the guy who wins Defensive Player of the Year is a fucking lockdown defenseman. Mm-hmm. And the Norris Trophy should be the best defenseman in the NHL.
It's interesting that you guys are having this conversation because this was going to be my hot ice of the week.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to? We can get off it and you can bring it up.
No, because do it now because I want to keep talking about it.
Okay, yeah.
I was going to talk about the fact that Wayne Gretzky wants to introduce a Bobby Orr trophy, which is like the...
Wait, this is sick. Is he trying to rename the Norris, or is he trying to create a new trophy?
I think he just wants it to be
Wait, scroll up. I think you were so right.
No, it's right. It's right down. It's right down there.
It's that he wants it to be for the most points for a defenseman and then for the best defensive defenseman.
Have 2 awards.
Look at me and Wayne.
Wow.
Me and Wayne on the same page.
While you're wearing your Wayne
Look
shirt.
at me and my hot ice.
Great hot ice, Em. No, seriously. That is good shit.
Dan's wearing a Wayne shirt while he was so
me and
locked
Wayne,
in with
same
Wayne.
page.
That was sick, Emily, and I would love that.
I would love this too, man.
But
I'm looking at that list, dude, Karlsson's going to win it.
As he should. There's not even, like, the guy you're describing isn't even on.
Yes, he is. It's Dougie Hamilton.
He's got 73 points.
And he's also, by every metric, a very good defender.
Okay.
I think Dahlin is in this conversation as well. Dahlin is fucking shut down and also has 68 points.
Yeah. You fucking...
Josh Morrissey's a great defender too.
Josh Morrissey is dope. I had him early this year.
So yeah, I think what a great segue into M's hot ice. Emily.
It would be cool.
You've been too quiet for my liking this episode, but that was
Well, you guys just fucking talk each other's ear off, and I think it's like you're saying great things, so I don't want to really interrupt.
that was a 10 out of 10 thing to chime in with.
Dan,
because
2 things.
I completely agree. I think there should be a Bobby Orr Award and a Norris Trophy.
Me too.
Because, I mean, dude, I just don't think Erik Karlsson is the best defenseman in the league.
Here are my 2 things. One, it would be cool. You know how baseball is like every fucking season there's a new baseball 3-letter acronym that's some stat that I've never fucking heard of in my life, but it's like, no, this is what the best players in the league are the best at this. And I'm like, you made this up. But one of them is like average plus or on base plus slugging. It's like OPS, I think. And it would be cool if there was a stat in the NHL that was like goals, assists, points, plus minus, and then this is easy math, but it was just the points, your total points plus your plus minus. So like Karlsson goes from 96 to 81 because he's a -15.
Yeah.
And Lindholm goes from 51 to 96.
Yes.
Because he's a plus, that would be
that's a cool way to do it. I mean, I think
if they keep one trophy, that would be a cool stat.
Yeah. I think it's really cool. Shout out Ty Anderson. He's a guy that does this. There's a lot of analysts and people who are deep in the stat books who show the stats of players, outscoring opponents blank to blank when they're on the ice.
Yeah.
And, obviously that's more or less plus minus. But
yeah, got you.
that is the shit that I'm like, dude.
Well, I was right about to ask, how do you pick your second award? Like, what do you? There has to be a metric somewhere.
I think we're getting close to
and
it.
Maybe it's
I think plus
yeah.
minus is fucking huge, dude. It's like, who if you are, this is what I would look at. If I were looking at the award for best defenseman in the league, I would look at points. Absolutely. Like if you have, 12 points but you're like a plus 30, I'm not putting you in the same conversation as like a Lindholm or something like that. What I would look at is your point totals. I would look at your time on ice. I would look at your plus minus in a huge way. I would look at your PK time on ice and your PK percentage.
Yeah.
Those are things off the top of my head that I would be like, you are so instrumental to your team.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sorry for the listeners who aren't Bruins fans. I'm only saying this because we just looked at Bruins stats, but the fact that Brandon Carlo is a guy that no one is talking about in terms of like flashy defenseman is a plus 39 on the season.
Pretty sick.
And he plays every PK minute, it feels like. That's very impressive from a defensive metric.
All right, good stuff. Last thing I want to talk about. This is for both of you. So every now and then we do something on this pod that, I know is going to get people kind of riled up. Like I'm like, Austin Matthews shot Ryan O'Reilly on purpose with a rifle. And everyone's like, oh my God. And I'm like, all right. But every now and then, on the other hand, we do something that I do not expect the backlash and vitriol. And it comes hard and fast. I would say the custom jersey people are one, for example, is a good example of that.
That was one of our first big viral moments where I was like, oh my God, people are going to kill me.
Yeah, so everyone was really mad about that. So last week, we sounded off on the Fanatics jerseys.
Oh.
And chalked this one up as something I didn't expect as much pushback on as we got. Now, the people were sounding off in the comments.
Pushback? What are you talking about?
Most
Everyone
people were on
agreed
your
with us.
side. No, well, I would say the majority of people were on your side. You were chirping Fanatics harder than me, certainly.
Yeah.
And most of the comments were chirping Fanatics. People were really into the Lulu jersey idea, too. But
Yeah. Did you see that?
Wow.
Someone commented on that post and was like, Lulu jerseys would be fire. And then it has hundreds and hundreds of likes, but then also tons of really funny comments that were like, yeah, but they would also retail for $600.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like,
fair.
To be fair, I think like I can't picture that as much as I could picture like Vori or whatever you pronounce it.
Really?
Like I could
That's what you
see
picture
the word
more?
Vori
On an NHL
on
jersey?
an NHL jersey.
Okay. So anyway, but a few people, very few on the comments at least, were coming to Fanatics' defense. All right.
hit me.
No, it's not even comments.
Oh.
I got a DM
Oh no.
that said
You personally?
this
Hold on.
I'm scared.
You got a DM on your inactive Instagram.
on my burner.
No.
There's
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah, because I was defending Fanatics, and everyone know it's like my name's on the thing.
Yeah.
You know what my Instagram is. I got a DM that said, "I'm 5 minutes into the Fanatics portion of the podcast, and the amount of information that is inaccurate is crazy." And so naturally, I said, "Go on."
Yes. Please enlighten us.
Turns out This person works for Fanatics and has requested to remain anonymous.
Get them on the pod.
But he says, I will tell you, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'll tell you 6 things. And then that's all you're getting. And I said, please, give me the data.
This is incredible.
So I got some fucking data for you, Dan.
Go.
I'm terrified.
And for all the listeners, by the way.
I can't wait for none of this to mean anything to me.
The first one,
I genuinely, and I'm not even
But
being
thank you
stubborn.
for listening, Mr. Fanatics
Yes,
man,
first-
and thank you for spitting the facts. We
I agree.
We need to be fact checked if we're incorrect.
I want
Agreed.
to be very
But
clear.
what did we say that wasn't?
That's what we got to
an
find
opinion?
out. I want to be very clear. I am wide open.
Yep.
I am
Are you?
wide open to being absolutely.
okay, the first data point.
Meanwhile, Dan's like, I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck.
I'll be honest.
The first data point, and this one you're going to hate, and it is irrelevant. I mean, it's true, but it's
Just shut up and fucking read them.
The breakaway jersey, which is what they sell, the breakaway jersey that everyone is making fun of is still going to be sold to fans so they can afford it and support their team. But obviously, those are not the jerseys that are going to be worn in game.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, we know that.
Okay, all right. Anonymous person, so far, you're a fucking moron because we said that 1,000 times. Granted,
I don't
he
know
said
if we did.
No, we did. I literally
But
said.
people are saying that.
I literally said, "quote Obviously, the jerseys that the guys are going to be wearing are not the shitty ones people are buying." That is something we addressed many times.
Mm-hmm.
So this person's dumb so far.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out which order to give you these in.
Read them down the list that he gave them in.
Okay. Fanatics currently manufactures 100% of every jersey worn in the MLB games right now. And there's no complaints there. It just says Majestic on them, but they are literally made
Okay, so then say
by
Majestic, not
Fanatics.
fucking
Agree.
Fanatics.
So number 2 point means nothing to me. Emily, I feel like you and I were on the same page of like, we know that the jerseys are going to be quality.
Obviously, they're not going to be shitty.
Yes,
I mean,
obviously-
like, okay, we did say they would be. You know what? I can sit here and say maybe they won't be as good as quality as if somebody else made them, but they
that's
are
wrong.
definitely going to be better quality
That's not
than
wrong.
the ones that they
You don't know that-
have or purchased that are cheaper. Obviously,
Agree, Emily. And you don't know that if Under Armour or Nike or someone else got this deal that they wouldn't make a higher quality. They absolutely could. We are not saying that they definitely would, but that's possible. But what we did agree on and did say is obviously they will make quality jerseys for the players because it's for the fucking players.
Okay, these next two I'll just give you together because you're talking about it. Fanatics has a deal right now where they manufacture a massive percentage of all Nike items, and then Nike just puts the Nike logo on them because of their branding deal, including everything MLB players wear, not just the jersey, the pants, the Under Armour, like the undershirts, everything. It all says Nike, but it is literally all Fanatics. It's part of a deal they have with Nike.
Okay?
So everyone's like, Nike makes such
we're
nice
gonna-
shit, and I'm like, that's a Fanatics shirt.
We're
So,
going to reserve judgment because I have
Okay.
my main point to say. Go on.
Next one, the materials and factories used to create the NHL jerseys are going to be exactly the same as the ones used by Adidas, that Adidas uses today through the 2026 season at least. And then I guess this is a potential boost, but like they're intending to make improvements
Yeah,
on that
honestly
in the long
figured
run.
that.
But my point is like it is literally the same jersey. It's going to be a Fanatics on it, and everyone's like, this jersey sucks compared to the Adidas jersey, and I'm like, it is literally the same jersey.
I'll be curious to see if it's like
okay, that's still fine.
I think the dimple thing is Adidas like signature change, and I'm curious if that will still be on there because if that's the case, it is not the same jersey.
And this is this person's last point, and you're going to respect the fuck out of it
Okay.
now. It says this.
I'm scared.
Fanatics is not a good name for your company if you want to not be just for fans.
Respect this person so much. I hated them after the first point. I love them after that. Okay. The like I said, I'm wide open. My favorite piece of information in that is that Nike is just Fanatics material. That's what they're saying.
All these Nike
They're
shirts
saying
that
that
everyone in the MLB is wearing, it's like Nike shirts are sick, and I'm like, those are made by Fanatics. It's a Fanatics.
If this person's actually saying that like Fanatics factories
They manufacture those.
are making stuff and then shipping it to Nike, and Nike is screen printing a Nike logo on it. That's interesting information. I will say, however, our biggest point, which stands, and they just corroborated at the end, our biggest issue is having Fanatics on these jerseys. Like that point of like MLB is Fanatics, but they just put Majestic. I'm like this. Good, put Majestic on the NHL jersey too. Like I just don't want Fanatics on it. We can't talk about Fanatics more, but like
No, but the one last point on that is like, yes, that was a major point, and another major point that he did like try and correct is like that we were saying like they might be bad quality, and because of the fact that Fanatics does produce bad quality shit, that's not to say like they don't use different materials for Nike. Like Nike has more money. Like Fanatics is known to make shitty quality stuff because it's cheaper and more affordable. But like that doesn't mean that it's not like they are not capable of making better quality things.
Right. I think we all agreed on last week. And
I was going to say, there's a lot of comments of people being like, dude, I ordered 2 jerseys from Fanatics this year. One of them had a stain on it, and the other part of the stitching was completely out. And we don't have that a lot with Nike.
Agree.
So I think Emily makes a good point. Like, the shit that they're sending to Nike, they're probably
and it's probably different facilities, different factories that they utilize.
I think that's my biggest point. And I will concede to you two and the fucking comment section that the name, it's not that cool that like Fanatics logo and name will be on an NHL jersey. I wish they either changed it or whatever, did a rebrand. I'm not going to push back on that one. But I am going to push back, and I'm not even saying you two are going that hard on this, but I am going to push back on everyone being like, they're going to be crap. And not even because they're like, the breakaway ones I get are crap. They're saying, no, even their good stuff's going to be crap. And I'm like, I feel like this at very least was like, bro, they make the MLB jerseys. Like no one's pro athlete. No one is bitching about the MLB jerseys. They make a good jersey.
I agree, and I am certain that we did say that. I know that the jerseys that the players are wearing are going to be fine.
Yeah.
I just don't like that it's going to say Fanatics. It's fucking corny as shit.
Fanatics stock to the fucking moon, baby.
God. All right, let's fucking land this plane with our usual ending segment.
Okay.
Because I have to pee so bad.
Hottest teams of the week.
Leave that in. Yeah, rip them off.
Dan, you want to go first, or you want me to do it?
I don't have them.
I got them. Number 3, Tampa Bay Lightning. They had a 3-0 week, and it wasn't your run-of-the-mill 3-0 week, by the way, either. They beat the Hurricanes 4-0, statement win. They beat the Caps 5-1. They beat the Islanders 5-0. Those are playoff teams or recently eliminated playoff teams. We know Tampa-Toronto is locked in. I don't think they can catch the Leafs for home ice, but the way they're playing, I don't think it matters. If Hot Vasi is here, I don't think it matters. Tampa looks good. Number 2, the Flames were 4-0 until we jinxed them and posted this, which was a nightmare. They beat the Sharks. They beat the Kings in a tough win. They beat the Sharks in OT. They had to have it. They beat the comeback win against the Ducks. Had to have that. And then during the middle of this epic playoff push, the unthinkable loss to the Hawks.
Yeah, it's awful. It's just so bad.
And then the hottest team.
Yeah, it's the Edmonton Oilers.
Yep.
We talked about it. They are on a true heater. McDavid's doing preposterous things. They look scary.
5 in a row. Yotes, Vegas, statement. Kings, statement. Beat the Ducks. And then the Kings again, statement.
Yeah, that 2-0 sweep against the Kings
Massive
was
statement.
Big.
Dude, not looking good for anyone in the Pacific.
No.
Okay, now we go to a little bit of... Yes. Ooh, baby Dan.
What are you talking about? There's literally no chance that I eat shrimp.
Jack has 64 points in 65 games. He's on a 7-game point streak with 10 points in those 7 games, and he's got 13 points in his last 9. All of this to confirm that he is listening to Eichel Watch, and he does, in fact, hate you.
I don't think he hates me.
I think he hates you. Unfortunately.
Yeah, let's get to
still needs... Well, he's been on a great tear.
Yeah.
Over a point per game, as I just said. But he's on a
7-game point streak. What are those, 7 assists?
No, bitch.
What are they?
He's got 10 points in 10 points in those 7 games, and I believe 3 of them are goals.
Okay.
But that's not because...
The last 3 games have just been like a measly assist here and there, and I'm like, good job,
dude,
Jack.
You wish you could get a measly assist.
I do.
He needs 8 points in his last 4 games.
Yeah, can't do it.
It could do it. He's got Kings at home, Dallas away, Seattle at home, Seattle away.
He needs a 4-point game.
I do think he needs a monster game.
He needs a 4-point game. Otherwise, he will not do it.
Those teams are all fighting for seeding. It's not like he's going to get to pump in 4 goals against the fucking Ducks, so it's going to be tough. But I hope it gets close. That'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be fun
to watch that last game.
We're just going to go right to the Buffalo Sabres trail. We touched on it earlier in the episode. They fucking lost a...
The reverse jinx was working, though.
Yeah, it was. But they lost a devastating game to the Panthers, and they lost because I was watching.
Yep.
So that is my fault again. But they're not out just yet, but it looks pretty hairy. You got any games to watch?
I sure do.
Emily, you got any games to watch?
Instead of games to watch, I know you guys are going to the Frozen Four.
Mm-hmm.
So I have some things to look out for at the Frozen Four.
Fuck yeah.
Just some prospects to look out for.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Can I, before you get into this, I just want to say, great call. And by the time you guys are listening to this, hopefully on Thursday, we will be in Tampa, Florida for the Frozen Four. Those first two games, we got Minnesota playing Boston University and Michigan playing Quinnipiac. It's going to be an unbelievable time. If you guys are down there, look us up. We'll be at Hat Trick's Tavern in Tampa. It is going to be a blast because there's so many unbelievable players who are going to be featured in this tournament. Emily, hit us with some of those guys.
Yep. Look out for Drew Comesso of Boston University. He's been inconsistent this season, but he's really dialed in lately. Yep. So he's earning his MVP honors at Manchester Regional on March 25th.
Who is he the property of, Emily?
He is the property of... What do you mean?
You got it right there.
Chicago Blackhawks?
Yes. Nice.
What does that mean?
He's been drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks.
Oh, Slay.
Yeah.
Love that. Slay.
Yeah, that's good for the Hawks.
Look out for Logan Cooley, University of Minnesota. He was chosen by the Coyotes, number 3 pick in the 2022 NHL draft.
Yeah, he's having a monster year.
Yes, he sure is.
Slay to Logan Cooley. And now we got to look at Brock Faber, University of Minnesota. He is the 2nd round pick for the Kings. So maybe you will interview him on your little show.
We sure will.
Big show, sorry.
That's fucking brutal. No one is as hot as this man.
You got to do Adam. You got to do Adam.
Yeah. Adam, 18-year-old forward. And he...
You want to say that last name or no?
Fantilli. Fontiglianini.
Yep. Nope, got it the second time.
Fantilli. And he is, it looks like he is not selected yet.
You want to take? Yeah, that's correct. Adam Fantilli.
He's too young.
He's going to go 2nd overall.
He's a Hobie Baker finalist. He's got 64 points, leading the NCAA. And in any other season, if it weren't for Connor Bedard being a mutant Monstar, Adam Fantilli would be the number 1 pickup.
Monstar Connor Bedard.
Yeah. Whoa.
That's what you just said.
That's nice. All right, games to watch other than the Frozen Four.
Yeah, Thursday all I had was Frozen Four.
Yeah, Thursday we got 2 Frozen Four matchups, and we got the final on Saturday. I got another Saturday game, Devils Bruins, 8 p.m. Eastern. That is going to be a big game. It's on ESPN Plus. Give that one a check out. I got one more, but you go.
First of all, Dan, there are no games on Friday.
I know it feels.
What is it? Good Friday? It's Good Friday. Is it that, or is it literally just
maybe,
like there's
maybe.
fucking 28 teams are playing Thursday?
Yeah,
the whole fucking league is playing tomorrow, and no one's playing Friday.
When I initially saw it, I was like, "Oh, cool! Respect to the Frozen Four," but it's not because Frozen Four is not playing on Friday.
They're like fuck the Frozen Four. Play every game in the league.
Crazy.
So I'm going Saturday, Vegas at Dallas. Great game. You know I'm watching every Jack game the rest of the way here. Give me the 4-pointer. Monday, one of the ones we talked about earlier, Nashville at Calgary. Any of that round robin.
Yeah, that could be.
Watch.
Yeah, I agree. All those games are games to watch.
And then Tuesday, I got kind of 2 I liked, but let's go Oilers Avs. Western Conference Final last year, maybe Western Conference Final this year.
My other one is another Saturday game. It's going to be a nice, a little 10:30 p.m. for you East Coasters, but a nice little West Coast night game. Avs at Kings.
Yeah,
always a good time.
Great game.
All right. That is it for us this week, guys. We will be at the Frozen Four this weekend, so tune into the Instagram to see all of that madness. And until next week,
skate hard.